Welcome to the Stronger Leader podcast, home of the hashtag Stronger movement, where we explore the fascinating tapestry of human experience. I'm your host, Tony Cardello. Each episode, we'll sit down with a remarkable guest to dive into their unique journeys, from successful business leaders to individuals who have faced the darkest of times and emerged stronger, even from some of the inspiring youth of this emerging generation. We'll also cover essential topics on marriage, leadership, as well as spiritual, physical, and mental health, all in hopes to provide you with the tools and motivation to navigate your own life's challenges. Whether you're here to learn, grow, or simply be inspired, there's something for everyone. So get comfy, settle in, and join us as we embark upon this journey together. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well. Turn on the notifications so you'll know whenever we drop new content. All right, let's get started. We're live.
And we're live.
All right, you ready for my intro?
Yes.
Have you heard any of these podcasts yet?
No, not yet.
All right, here it goes. Welcome to another episode of the Stronger Leader podcast. It's your host, Tony Cardello. And the crowd goes wild. I'm here with a very, very close friend of mine. She's a reality TV star. Just a woman extraordinaire. And more than anything, she's a good friend of me and Dominique, and just a pleasure to have her on. Galyna Saltkovska.
There you go.
I said it right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. My little intro there, right? It was really easy to get the studio audience here to come see you because everybody knew you were coming. They were lined up. I didn't even have to pay anybody to be here. They just wanted to be here. So thank you, fans, for all coming. Appreciate you guys. Just be quiet during the show.
I love it.
So Galyna for those of you who don't know, there's a reality show out called the McBee Dynasty, and it is, just without going too far into it and stealing her thunder, what I would say, and probably a lot of people do, it's kind of the, for us in Kansas City, it's a Midwestern Yellowstone kind of, a lot of ranch and business entrepreneurship, just a lot of stuff going on, family stuff, and it's a family-owned business, and Galyna comes in and brings in a flair to the organization and some intelligence and some fierce, and so I'm excited to have her here. She's become a really close friend of me and Dominique's over the last couple of years, and just been a pleasure getting to know her. And the nature of this show being a leadership show, you obviously are a leader of an organization. You're CFO of the McBee organization, is that right?
Yeah. CFO, COO.
So
just handle different things throughout. It's a business. So
she's the boss. She's the boss, and everybody knows it. So, but anyway, so Galyna, we hooked up one night at the cocktails and connections party that we did, and you were there. You and I got to really just kind of chat for a little bit there at the end, and I got to know you just a little bit. And I was really intrigued by your story, especially, it's a story, an immigration story of kind of chasing the American dream and making something of yourself without anything being handed to you. And I just thought it was really remarkable. You're a woman of strength, courage, resilience, all the things that we talk about on this podcast, and I think you embody all of that. So
thank you.
I'm proud to have you on here. So let's start out with very basic, who are you? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? How long, when did you come to America? What's that whole, just give us the basic background.
Just a basic background.
Background.
Yeah, I actually was born in the former Soviet Union. I was born in Kyrgyzstan. Now is a former republic. It's Central Asia. I grew up there. I was almost 15 years old when Soviet Union collapsed, and we moved to Crimean Peninsula. So that's where I graduated high school and got my master's degree there as well. Immediately upon graduating, I did move to United States. I moved to South Florida. Was very lucky to move there. I lived there in Florida for about 11 years before moving to Kansas City, Missouri.
Tell me again how old you were when you came to America.
I was almost 23.
Okay, yeah, and it was early. Okay, so back up in your college, we were just talking about this on the way home, Dominique and I. You got you finished all of your schooling in Europe or in Asia, I guess.
Yeah,
home.
Home. Yeah, wherever I was.
The old home. Where are you
yes.
from? And
in the former Soviet Union.
Did you do any schooling when you came here? You were done, right?
No, I was. Yeah, I was fully done.
And one of the things that we were talking about that I thought was good for you, and I don't know if you had the foresight to know this, but like law degrees and things like that just don't transfer.
They don't.
So you were able to take some courses and get a degree in an education that transferred here, and it was pretty universal, right?
Yeah, business,
business,
operations and business, and I always was around business, with my dad or my grandma, so I just kind of had that business acumen, I guess.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. What's childhood for you? What's it look like? Your parents married most of your life, or what?
Yes.
What did you? Okay, and then what your dad do? I mean, just tell me about your basic childhood.
So obviously vastly different than anybody here. It was still Soviet Union. I grew up pretty much in the Soviet Union.
And
so
remind me, that was communist, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, socialist society. So
okay.
very, very different. Most of the people, there was no private businesses at all. There's some private businesses were starting to happen toward the end of the Soviet Union, but for the most part, everything belonged to the government. So, and all of the people, we all had a job, but everybody pretty much had the same paycheck. Everybody lived very, very similar. So, just maybe like very few that had a very different lifestyle. On top of it, it was a completely closed country, so it's not like anybody could go to Europe or travel anywhere. For the most part, it would be just the military people that would be able to go anywhere outside the Soviet Union. But we grew up pretty much just in the same area. So out of the Kyrgyzstan, we would travel to the Black Sea, Crimean Peninsula, because we were very fortunate that my grandma had a house there. So we would spend every summer there. So that was really, really fun and beautiful. But yeah, it was very simple life. It was not anything that I'm experiencing now. We did not really have a lot of goods in the stores. The clothing was very simple. Everything was very simple.
And that was so that's interesting. I'm going to educate myself more on this because I don't know any of this stuff. So I'm assuming that was by design for control, right? Keep everything so there's no classes. It's everybody's the same. Everybody follows the same order, and it's
pretty much.
It's probably to maintain the government control. I would assume, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming so. So it just was a socialist society.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there was a little bit different levels within just a normal society. Obviously, if you receive like a master's degree, your paycheck was a little bit higher than if you're receive like a trade degree. But yeah, for the most part, everything was maintained pretty similar. You have like a big apartment buildings, or at least, that's how I was perceiving it.
Yeah.
There were some people that had a little bit more than others, but yeah, for the most part, they tried to keep it pretty equal.
What was opportunity like over there for something? Because here, look, everybody wants to be a social media influencer. I mean, everybody wants to be rich and loaded and famous and all that, right? Was that probably as a kid growing up over there? Those probably aren't normal. You're not seeking fame and fortune as a kid. What type of goals do you have as a child over there? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know what I mean? What do kids aspire to be over there? Back then,
yeah, I know. Yeah, it was that. I thought about it so many times. Originally, obviously, growing up, I wanted to be a teacher. It was very like the ideology, the communist ideology was like through the roof. Like we had to wake up and we had this Lenin pictures everywhere, and like everybody wanted to be a communist, and go into Communist Party upon growing up. It was like very strategic of what we were presented in school and everywhere through the society of who we want to become, growing up. So yeah, like there were through school there were like different rankings. So you're gonna start to get to that Communist Party. So you become like Oktябрёнок, and then you have to be a pioneer, and you have to achieve like a certain things, you you have to qualify, and then it's an honor, to get to that next level. So that's what it was. Everybody wanted to be either, cosmonaut or teacher or something like that. Like education system was really, really strong. But yeah, like I originally wanted to be a teacher, to be honest with you.
Do you, what about the home roles of male, female, like, traditional, it was very traditional. The man worked, women stayed home for the most part. Was that a tradition of that culture as well?
So because I was born in Asia, there, yes, but also no, because Soviet Union actually spent, you'll be surprised, but they did spend a lot of time empowering women and put women back in the workplace. So we did have quite a few incredibly intelligent women in workforce. One of the reasons also Russia, Soviet Union went through so much losses through the wars, especially World War II, when we had to have females back in the workforce because the male populations was so low at some points. So, I'm actually, that was a really good part of that, entire, socialist society. They did spend a lot of time empowering women and educating and, also kind of equalizing them.
That's good.
Again, but I was born in Asia, so there was there was also very traditional, Muslim culture. There was such a mix of people and cultures where I grew up. So there was some, that women can get an education. My mom got an extremely great education, but then she married my dad. My dad was more of an old school, like women cannot drive. He kind of was applying that pressure to me. So he did not want me to go to college. He did not want me to drive. I had to, fight for all of that. I literally, he was not happy when I got my driver's license. He was not happy that I went to college. My mom was trying to, reconvince him. But yeah, my dad was extremely old school.
What'd your dad do for a living? What was his career?
He actually kind of was always managed to have his own business. So he did play trumpet, and he worked for, we only had one funeral agency in city of Bishkek, Frunze back then. So he kind of was running and operating that. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've been exposed to all sorts of industries in my life.
Are your parents still living?
My mom is. Yes, she lives in San Francisco now. My dad passed away back in 2005.
Got it. Back up. Came to America, South Florida. What, did you just spin a globe on the map and say, where am I going to go here? Or what was that? How'd that happen?
No, actually, I mean,
not a bad choice.
I know, right? I always laugh at myself because back when, like late 1990s and early 2000, when internet came, to life, and we actually started getting the access to internet in Russia. The dating agencies start, kind of pop up. And, back in the day, a lot of, American men were like, wow, all these Russian women, they're so complying. Like, we need a little bit more of, those good women. I mean, not that anybody's, but you know what I mean. Russian women are so compliant, especially back in the day. How little did they know about me? I'm not really that compliant, but so the first agencies kind of started happening, and my aunt already lived in the United States. She immigrated back in early 90s, and she's like, oh, why don't you set up a profile? It was so awkward, internet's so new, and I was extreme introvert. So she flew in actually from New York here, and she's like, okay, I'm going to take care of it. She sent me somewhere to take pictures. I'm looking at those pictures. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, can I burn them? But then I'm like, no, I'm going to hide them so nobody ever sees them because this is ridiculous. So, because, it was all new, and they would pose us a particular way. So, basically created an online profile. And I knew just enough English to where I can write. Again, there was no Google Translators or any of those things back in the day. So I would have like a paper vocabulary. I had I knew some, English through, elementary, like the school and the college. But anyway, so then we would receive an email and so forth, so on. So that's how I met my daughter's father. So we started talking, and then he came I lived in St. Petersburg, Russia at that time. So we met, and then he is from South Florida, and he invited me here. And of course, like a 90-day fiancé situation. Once you come here on the fiancé visa, you only have 90 days to either make a decision that you want to, you're going to marry, or you have to leave the country. So basically, when I got here, just got married. We've been married for 10. We were married for 10 years. Okay. So, and we have my daughter Irina.
So it was a real relationship. It wasn't an immigration tactic.
No. We've been married for a very long time. Yeah, it just after a while, kind of grew apart, and it happens.
Sure,
it's nothing that I was planning to happen, but it did. So
well, so back in childhood, spirituality. So you mentioned there's Muslim. I know there's a vast. There's Russian Orthodox. There's a lot of different. Yeah. How were you raised? Were you raised in a very spiritual household?
No. The socialist society and communist society traditionally, it was atheist society. So no, we grew up in atheist society. Yeah.
Interesting.
Matter of fact, when the Soviet Union was coming to, was building up, they were trying to completely destroy the religion, and lots of churches were burned. We were not allowed to celebrate any religious holidays or anything like that. So no, I grew up in atheist society. There was never anything religious in school. Or anything like that. The cool thing about, obviously, religion and Russian Orthodox Church, we've been, Russians been in Christianity for over 1,000 years now. So it's kind of hard to destroy it.
Sure.
So when the Soviet Union formed, you can't just kill the religion, in people, immediately turn it off.
Yeah, right.
I was already, so many generation in, so for us it was completely different, but we still celebrated Christmas and we still celebrated Easter, even though it was not kind of based on God, but we still celebrated it.
It's just still
kind of, we still, kept the tradition alive. The cool thing about, how you cannot destroy religion in people, even, after so many years, that as soon as the Soviet Union kind of started dying, and the churches came back just like that. And, so I was baptized in Russian Orthodox Church when I was probably 12.
Okay.
It was it's an interesting journey for me because, like I said, I kind of grew up without it, and being introduced already as a teenager, it's okay, does it really exist? It's really strange, it's
so curious in that society, being an atheist society. Is it just it's just generally just something people don't talk about, and they just brush it off like they didn't believe, or was there consequence and penalties for it? In some of these Muslim countries, if you're a caught Christian, they'll cut your head off or whatever. You know what I mean? Was there heavy penalties that come with proclaiming Christianity or anything like that? If you were a Christian, Russian Orthodox or anything, did you have to keep it quiet? Out of fear of persecution?
I think at some point, there were consequences. I don't think anything that, that I know of that was extremely severe. Maybe in the beginning, when, in the very beginning, when they were burning churches and trying to get rid of it, yes, of course there was. During Stalin times, they definitely had a lot of horrible things happening, and, to not to allow the, religion. But not when I grew up. Everything was a little bit more relaxed, and then everything started to coming back.
Coming back, yeah. So what when did your spiritual journey start? Where you really started kind of diving in and taking a deeper interest in it, and really wanting to get to know God and get more familiar with it.
It's it's kind of when you're growing up and you're starting to see how time goes, by so fast, and then you're like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, right.
And then you start thinking as you're getting older, like, okay, what's next? Like, I'd like to, and just the different experiences that I had in life, and I'm like, okay, like somebody was watching over me. I mean, there is no way that I came out of this situation, or like, they're like some kind of guardian angel, like there are certain situations in life that, made me think. Another thing is, like I said, growing up atheist, and then you're like, okay, so what's next? There is no any kind of like moral boundaries or anything like that.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. What is the moral boundaries in an atheist society?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like people just run around killing each other?
It's fear. It's fear of the government, but you can only believe so much with fear. You just want to believe into something, bigger.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. So I wanted to make sure that my daughter grows up with religion, something to believe into. Because I did not like, as I was started growing, I did not like the fact that I was atheist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like that at all. Like, I want something to believe into, that moral compass, something different. So, I just wanted to make sure that she was baptized in Catholic church almost right away, because that's her dad's religion. I definitely did not keep very good job on going to church. It's just something, not always, I don't know. It's not something that I grew up with, but she did go to a Catholic college.
Mm-hmm.
So she's, very spiritual, completely different from me. And I'm like really excited about that, that she has God in her life. Yes.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. So let me ask you, back up to, I know we're jumping around a little bit. We're going backwards and forwards. So when you decided to start looking do the dating deal was there something first that provoked, you want to come to America? Like, were you trying to seek a better life, American dream? Was there something here? Did your aunt tell you, like, this place is great, you got to get over here? And, was that
of
what
course.
started? Is that kind of what was the start of that?
I think when the Soviet Union was collapsing already, again, I was kind of in like a weird age, because I grew up in one society, and as you already like pretty much old enough to enter in the society that you were prepared to enter, everything collapsed. But they also opened up the borders, and so we started getting those first video cassettes, and first American movies. Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I cannot tell you how many times we watched that, and of course it's like probably filmed in the movie theater. And then there's this Russian voiceover. By like, it was like, oh my God, I wish I kept that video cassette just for the memories. Like some dude translating all of that, and you're like, wow, who is this Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like, he's so cool. We like watched that millions of times. So, and then, we saw the lifestyle, and it was so different. Like, remember the scene at the Mall of America? Was it like the malls? I mean, everything that you see in the American movies, we're like, oh wow!
Just
it just was like
exposure.
A whole new experience. Like the houses, the cars, the clothing, music.
Mm-hmm.
It just was so like magical almost. Like, I want to go into this wonderland.
Right.
Yes.
All right, good. So you make your way here then, and then so tell me, tell me your career path. What's you came over with nothing. You didn't really have much, right?
Yeah, $100.
Yeah, $100. Yeah, that's right. So tell that story about when you came over.
This is so funny. So I got my visa in Poland, in Warsaw, and then I immediately flew out, and my flight was through Paris, and it was going straight to Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And I literally had $100. There's, no cell phone, no nothing. Right. So I'm like 22, almost 23. Imagine that. Like a little bit English. So I'm like, Out of Warsaw, by the time we landed in Charles de Gaulle Airport, the weather was so bad, so they taxied us forever. And anyway, I am trying to run to my next plane. I don't even know how I got situated in that massive airport, like never been out of country before, like always, like I said, we could not travel outside the country. Somehow I made it to my plane, and I was late. So I'm standing there and my heart dropped. I'm like, I don't even, like, because, I did not know if you miss the plane, in normal society, they will just like get you, because it's, if it's not your fault, they will just put you on the next plane.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I only have $100. So I'm like thinking, I can't, like,
you're
how
stuck.
do I buy the ticket? Like, I don't have phone, nothing, like. So, and then of course, the custom agents, like, start like questioning me, and she's like knew some Russian, and she's like treating me like
a criminal already.
Yeah. And she's like, why are you going there? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, finally I kind of got a little frustrated because I already was nervous. I'm like, I have my visa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm approved.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Here it is. Like, like, don't ask me those questions. I already answered all the questions. That's why I have visa.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
so
right.
I'm gonna, yeah. So they did put me on a plane, but the plane was to New York. Meanwhile, somebody's, obviously, they waiting for me in Miami. So I'm landing in New York. And then in New York, you have to go through the whole immigration process, they, like old school. They had like some kind of like, I don't know, almost like cages type of situation there. I can't even remember. It was it was a little wild experience. So I'm like in New York. Like I said, besides $100, I had some of those Russian nesting dolls and stuff. So I literally, I had like on my notebook a couple phone numbers. So I traded somebody those nesting dolls.
Oh my gosh.
To make a phone call. So I called my aunt and I called, Irina's father to let them know that I am actually made it to U.S. I'm in New York. And of course, walking into New York, like everything is so different. So like it was, definitely an experience.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So from there, you got to fly to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, right?
Yeah. I flew, I finally made it somehow.
It's okay. Same day, or did you have to catch a flight the next day?
I think it was a little bit longer. I think it came in, can't even remember now. Yeah, it's probably like early following day. Following day,
something. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So then, so you get down there, you get home, or you get to, and you plan at this point. Pretty sure you've pushed all your chips in. You're planning on coming and staying.
Yeah, at this point, I was like, I was a little nervous, but yeah.
Yeah. So, did you have? I would not say all your things, but most of your things with you, like what you were going to start your life with in America, or was that?
I had my like suitcase. Well, obviously they lost my suitcase, so because all of the planes. So I mean, I did get it. Like again, like we had a very simple life, so a lot lesser stuff.
Yeah,
and the clothing also. Oh my God, the way I was dressed, I was like, holy smokes. Yeah, I probably should have been a little bit more conservative, but I was like 22, like super thin, like, coming from Europe, we're a lot more like, relaxed. In the way, like I had like tank top that completely see-through on the back, like some kind of snake pants, walking into like, and everybody's looking at me like, why are you dressed like that? And,
going clubbing.
I know. Yeah. I looked like I was going clubbing. It was so funny.
That's great. Well, I'm sure that he was happy when he saw you. He's like, yeah, right. Welcome to America.
I know, exactly.
Now, is your ex, is he American too?
Yeah, he's American.
Okay, he's from here. All right. So, so you get down there, you get settled in. What's life start looking like initially? Do you start working right away, or what's?
No, you cannot work right away. So once you, and what
did he do for a living?
Back in the day, he was in IT, like an IT director. Yeah.
Got it.
So, no, you cannot start working right away. So, if you go through the legal steps, once you get, you have 90 days to get married. Once you legally married, before 90 days, don't even wait extra day because you'll get deported.
Right.
Then you have to apply for a work permit. So that's your first step, like a work authorization.
Like a green card. That's the
green
work
card
visa.
is the next step.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So before you get the green card, because it's longer process to get a green card, you'll get the work permit. You'll have your alien registration number. You have to go like every year for fingerprinting, and just there's a lot of steps to maintain your legal status. But yeah, so I got the work permit first, and my first job was Planet Hollywood in downtown Disney.
Yeah.
I got fired. I don't even know why. I think I know why. But I was like a host in the Planet Hollywood. It was the downtown Disney. So worked there for a little bit, and then when I went to college, I also did some extra accounting classes, and I was pretty decent with math all the time, all the time. So I went to a staffing agency and did a test. So, then I got a job my second job was at it was one of the dial-up internet provider. So I went in there account receivable. I think it was sorting mail pretty much from the beginning. Scanning, entering the bills. Yeah. And then, as I started working with them, I got pregnant with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So because of my pay was so low, anyway, we just decided that I'm going to just stay with her because the childcare was just so expensive.
Yeah,
and
common.
it was
very common.
Yeah. So I stayed home with her for about 3 years or 4 years. And I babysat at the same time. But then, obviously the cost of living is so high. So I started working for Hard Rock, in their catering. So this way we had an opposite schedules. So, I would be taking care of her during the daytime. And then, at night I would go and just work at the different events. Yeah. Which, it was really cool because it was at the Universal Studios. So I got to, be at the really cool private events. And
I bet you that was neat.
It was a good experience for me. It helped me with my English and slang and, and just become social because I was so introvert. I would not talk to anybody. You would never.
I can't imagine.
Cannot. Everybody said that. But that's why I said it was so good for me to work in catering and, Universal Studios. People from all over the country would come, or all over the world. So you learn how to start talking pretty quick if you want to make money.
Yeah. Yeah, really, right?
Yeah.
So I remember a story you told me about your first car. Your first nice car you bought yourself with the BMW, right?
BMW.
Yeah. What was your first car then before that?
Well, here in US, oh my God. It was that there's I like now good cars and good shoes.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I had traumatic experience with shoes growing up and my first cars, period. In Soviet Union, when my dad finally allowed me,
how old are you in the Soviet Union when you can get your license?
18.
18,
You
okay.
have to be 18.
I got it.
So Tavria, it was a Ukrainian-made little tiny car with 2 doors. That was my car. Not my car. It was, we had one
family
vehicle.
cars, whatever. Yeah.
And then here, Pontiac, what is it? Transporter, that minivan that looks like freaking spaceship.
The Pontiac. I do. I do.
Oh my God, that was
that was your first car? That's great.
I know, stop it. It was so bad. And because, we did not have a lot of money. And
sure.
It always had some kind of issues. And I remember one time I turned down, I'm on Florida Turnpike, and I put the window down, and of course it's freaking all broken. Yeah. And it's summer, how it is in Florida. Downpour rain.
Oh, no.
So, and then, when I left, finally, Irina's, not finally, sorry, that's probably poor choice of words. When Irina's dad and I part our ways, I did not really have any kind of credit history. I really did not have like a good career because I worked part-time jobs just to help, our situation.
Yeah.
So I had to start like building up the credit and all that stuff. So my first officially car that I bought for myself was 2002 Ford Expedition.
Oh
at,
boy.
Like freaking 28% interest or something like that, ridiculous.
And
I'm like,
you went straight to a bus.
You
went straight to a bus.
The one of this pay here, buy here,
Yeah,
pay here, no
yeah.
credit necessary. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. Well, actually, no. I think I did get that at Blue Springs Ford for like a ridiculously cheap amount of money at like incredibly high interest rate.
All right, so back up then. So then you are in Kansas City. Did you come to Kansas City with your ex?
Yes.
Did you guys come together? Okay, what was that? What caused that transition?
It was just his job transfer, and we already kind of had some issues. So like, okay, let's move. Maybe fresh start or something like that. Just didn't work out. So.
What part of town? So Blue Springs, Lee Summit. Okay, all right. Is that where your daughter ended up going to school?
Yes, yeah. She went in Blue Springs. She graduated Blue Springs South because she went to Gage the entire time. So that's why we stayed in that area because she was gymnast.
Okay, Gage gymnast. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. I didn't realize was she a big gymnast?
She was on their team, so she went to level 10. So.
Oh yeah, all right, good. Did she go on? Did she do that in college at all?
She did acro and tumbling in college.
Got
Yes,
it.
she competed in college. She actually did really good in her acro and tumbling career. Yeah,
I love that.
She was Specialist of the Year for North Carolina Conference for 2 years in a row. So she did really well.
She's talented, smart, pretty,
yeah,
athletic. I mean, she's
really
the
amazing.
whole deal.
Oh,
yeah.
Proud mama.
Yeah, I bet. And then so recently she's started her law school.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, in University of Nebraska. So she's a Cornhusker and a lot closer to me.
Yeah, that's great. Where was her first college at? Her undergrad?
So she has 2 bachelor's and master's in out of North Carolina. It's private Catholic school, Belmont Abbey.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay, great. That's great. What did she choose there?
When we were just traveling, and she, wanted to do sports through college, we just chose, that school. It was actually there were, a couple other schools. My choice was like, okay, she's kind of a little bit, far enough where I cannot just drive because she's the only child and she's kind of was a little too attached to me. I wanted to make sure that the campus is cute.
Yeah.
Of course, there's great shopping and it's in a close proximity to the airport
and safe,
where I have, direct flights.
Yeah.
So there was I had my own vision. I'm like, wow, this campus is so cute. It's so close to airports. Charlotte is great.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going there.
Well, yeah, that's a great school. That's okay. So then she finished there and then went to Nebraska.
Yes.
Awesome. Very good. Okay. So we're in Kansas City now, and you are. So at what point does what's your career path through Kansas City? You come here. Where do you start working when you come here?
So originally at the stadiums, Royals and Chiefs. That's actually how we moved here because Irina's father, company he used to work for, got the contract with them. So I worked at the both Chiefs and Royal Stadium. And then when we got separated, I had the part-time job, my career path. Pretty humbling experience. I worked at the Royal Stadium for a while until I worked at the Crown Club. Crown Club, the one that downstairs.
Yeah, Triple Crown suites and all that. Yeah,
right there by the dog. Yeah.
And what'd you do down there? Were you
it was their managing, managing the whole club.
Okay.
Supervisor.
I got you.
And then from there, one of the the season ticket holder, they had their own company, and I can tell you that much. I mean, I was a single mom. I was hustling. I worked so freaking hard.
Yeah.
So they saw how much, like how I work in the quality. So they offered me a job for their company, which I worked for probably, oh my gosh, 24/7. But,
And who was that?
It was just a private company. They provide like group homes and stuff like that for adults with disabilities.
I got it. Okay.
So they had like a daycare center. They had like group homes.
So what did you do? Like an administrative role? Did you get into like some of the accounting stuff or?
No, I
Okay.
actually just worked with them,
Got it.
whatever's needed. Like kind of like they hired me in a manager capacity, just supervise the they had multiple
Scheduling,
houses,
doing different-
and scheduling the because the way they were working, somebody had to be at the house 24/7. So I basically was just making sure that we have enough stuff in all the houses and stuff, and if somebody would call out, I would have to be there.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of work because if somebody calls out, I have to be there.
Yeah.
So but from there I did hire somebody to put together like a little resume for me. So put it online, and I got recruited by a couple companies actually, and I chose Panda Express. So Panda Express was my first official like corporate job in a general manager capacity.
Interesting.
So
Did not know that.
and I'm to this day I'm like so happy that I made that decision and went with that corporation as my first job, and I'm like so excited that they even offered that job.
Yeah.
So great corporation. So they were my first company, and
So that's your first like actual job that you could say was a career. Where,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Structured, organized. I mean, just like
Structure,
it's a real,
organized training, just full benefits,
It's a big corporation.
like a full time. Yeah. So that was my first, and like I said, I just again updated my resume. I just always wanted to see what else, because restaurant industry is really hard. You work days and nights, a lot of hours, all the weekends. If anybody calls out, you still have to be there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I would not be even done until like 2 a.m.
Late. Yeah.
And the pay wasn't, enough for me to support my daughter in gymnastics. So on top of that, I started like a little cleaning. I don't even know how. I probably like slept at times 2 or 3 hours a day. I was like, because from there I would go and do some kind of office cleaning just to, get money for,
Sure.
to support us. And I was trying to save money to buy my house, first house. So yes, from there I got a job. I got an offer with Pacific Dental Corporation. I went through multiple interviews with them, and they finally offered me a job of operations manager. So I was like, yes, it's a little bit more, the hours a lot friendlier. So that allowed me to grow the cleaning business a lot more, and I was able to hire somebody to actually do all of that portion. But my poor child, she had to go with me quite a few weekends. So I'm like, okay, you vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah.
She knows. Like, so, she was doing gymnastics so much. I would pick her up at school at 12. So she was at the gym till 7 p.m. And on Saturdays from like 9 to 1 or whatever. And then on Sundays, she would go with me, and, I'm like, I'll give her a vacuum. I'm like, you vacuum.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So, yeah.
Well, hey, listen, you're teaching her work at an
Yes.
early age, right? That's nothing.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. I think it's admirable. I remember growing up. My mom had, she worked at Southwestern Bell, and she was like a stenographer there. And then in the evenings, my uncle had a barbecue joint over on 40 Highway, and she would go, in the evenings and on the weekends and stuff, and wait tables. And I was so little, I couldn't be home alone, so I'd just be up there with her playing around with my little cousin. We'd be back in the booth coloring and stuff, and I'd help her clean up at night, and we'd help clean up the restaurant before we go home. Those are some fun years. I remember
memories.
going down in that rickety ass basement down in it was like spooky. It was really spooky down there.
I'm like, oh my God.
I know.
Thinking back, I'm like, wow.
Right, some of the stuff. But hey, you know what? I mean, you got to do what you got to do to make ends meet, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so the Pacific Dental, right? Then we said, and then from there, what's next?
So from there, I like I said, I kind of started working part-time with Steve and Steven. I was helping them out with a couple businesses because
How'd you meet them, and how'd that relationship start? Were you guys
just really an accident? Like I guess I don't know. I was at the right place at the
were you?
right time.
I mean, you weren't applying for a job. This was
no.
Cross
Just kind
paths.
of cross path, and just again, just I was always trying to find additional opportunities to earn, or so I was doing some part-time work, just analyzing the business and their profit and loss statements and stuff like that, just doing some part-time
Some of the accounting stuff that
Right,
you're
yeah.
experiencing.
Mm-hmm. And from there, they kind of learned my work ethics and just, what, I know. And that at that point, they started, they really started more, on the farming side and wanted to grow that. So they offered
Oh,
me
so that wasn't the original side. The farming stuff wasn't their original business?
No.
What was their original business? The car washes?
No. Car washes we opened together.
Okay.
It was Lantel. It's
What is it?
Underground construction. Lantel Communications.
Okay.
That was Steve's original company.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's now like when he and his wife got divorced, it's with stayed with his wife. So she's running and operating it.
Got it. Is that underground? Is that like communication, cell phone towers, stuff like that, or
just underground construction? Yeah.
Oh,
like
just
cabling.
got it. Interesting. I don't know anything about that business. Wow. Okay. Well, but you were just looking at the P&Ls and the financials. I mean,
Yes.
2 + 2 wasn't adding up. You're trying to find out where you get more.
saying
Okay.
that,
So then, all right. So that relationship grows, right? So they see your work ethic, like, okay, hold on, we got to bring you on more full time.
Yeah.
When do you make a transition to full time with McBees and then leave your Pacific Dental?
2019.
Okay. What would that transition look like? What's
I just started at the farm, like driving to Gallatin every day, and like we had this tiniest little office, and from there I started building it all up. Steve had a really great vision for the farms. And then we started. Steven had the idea of the car washes, so kind of three of us, started working on it. We all had our own like buckets of responsibility. So, I just built all the P&Ls and projections, things like that, prepared those presentations.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So tell me, on the farming side, was it mainly ag at first or cattle? What all was all involved in the farming stuff? Was it just crops and things, or?
Yeah, we have both.
Both.
Yeah. There was cattle operation that kind of already was in place. And then the row cropping was something that we really started kind of growing and expanding.
Mm-hmm, got it. On the cattle side, do you guys do your own processing at all, or do you guys outsource that, or do you ship that off to somewhere else? Because I got a friend of mine that owns Paradise Meat Locker in Trumbull. Do you know those Phantasmas?
No, I don't know that one. But yeah, we do have now we do have a meat company, and we do some processing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I got to get you hooked up with them. Maybe you guys can do some business together.
Yeah.
Is that business still strong? The farming business, all that still, is that you still rocking that, or is that
The farming?
Yeah.
No, we are kind of like downsizing farming.
Got it.
Big time, yeah. It's so almost impossible to make any kind of profit in farming, unfortunately.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah. Okay. So car washes. So we get into the car wash. What's our first location we decide to launch when
Actually, Liberty was the first one that we broke ground on. Belton was the first one we actually opened because Liberty was just a bigger location, so it took longer to finish the construction.
Mm-hmm.
So Belton and North Little Rock actually we opened like almost within weeks apart.
I didn't know you had one in North Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
How many total now are
9?
9. How many here in the metro?
6. One is in North St. Well, Smithville is it considered metro?
Yeah.
So then 6 here, 1 in North St. Joe, and 2 in Arkansas.
2 in Arkansas. Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
Moving. What's plans for that? Can continue to grow those? You want to
Eventually,
open
yes.
more of those?
Yeah. Right now we just we have 9 open, so we need to stabilize these locations and then hopefully start expanding again.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I know about expansion projects. Okay. So the obvious now, when does reality TV start? How did this all come about?
So we were like a few years before we even built the new farm building. Steven was approached through the social media to be on another reality TV show. It's called Joe the Millionaire,
Joe Millionaire,
for richer or poor. So he went through a very vigorous selection process, and they ended up picking him to be the one of the bachelors.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Like I was like, oh my God. I remember him asking me, I'm like, yeah, go for it. I mean, this is so cool, you know?
Fun.
Because we always were laughing, like going through our journey of everything that we're doing. I'm like, to Steven, I'm like, one day they're going to make a movie about us. I mean, our experiences are so wild.
Yeah.
It was just so funny. And then he got this opportunity. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, go for it. So they started filming, and I think through the filming, they filmed at the farm, quite a few times. They,
following him and
right.
Yeah.
So obviously, they, production companies kind of notice all of our shenanigans.
They notice
and
the same shit you noticed.
Yeah, right. So after that show aired, Jeff Jenkins production that actually produced the Kardashians, they discovered the Kardashians. Reached out to Steven, and they flew in and did like a little pilot episode. They basically interviewed all of us, kind of just followed and did, watched our dynamics and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they pitched it to the network. And I guess whatever we did, we were entertaining enough for people, for networks to actually get into almost like a bidding war, essentially, to see, we want to take the show. And we definitely trusted Jeff Jenkins production and their expertise. And we went with Peacock and USA initially. So the very first season was completely different experience too. They filmed us, and then they basically just put all the, streamed all the episodes all at once. But, the cool thing is, I guess the show did well enough that we attracted Bravo. I guess we produced so much drama in the first season that, we were like, okay, let's, we qualified to be moved on Bravo. So that production took a little bit longer because that was a first season for Bravo, so they treated us as a first season show. And what I liked about being on Bravo, because they did not streamed it, so they just dropped one episode a week. So it was completely different experience and a lot more drama on season 2. And we did not start filming season 3 until, way after the show finished airing, because they wanted to see what the ratings are, whether it's worth investing into, next season. I guess, again, here we are filming season 3. I'm like, oh my
That's what's going
goodness.
on now is 3, right?
Yes, we are filming now.
Great. So will they, in those things, with this particular one, will you film the entire season before the releasing starts, or will they start releasing like early season 3? Has any season 3 episodes released?
No.
Okay. So
we are still filming. Yeah.
So they'll wait until it's all done and then start dropping it one week at a time or whatever. Is that what it is?
Once they're done, doing their job, because obviously they're filming us all the time. Then they're doing the interview, so it all has to put together, and the story needs to make sense.
Yeah.
So, they're doing their magic. So as soon as they're ready, then we would know when the premiere date is for season 3. So
I love it.
We'll see.
I love it. Well, I'm gonna. I'll give you some raw stuff of this, all the raw video. Maybe you can give it to him, put it on there. Maybe we can get our minute in the limelight.
I'm going to have a party for obviously season premiere.
Yeah.
We always do something. I'm like, the last couple of years, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm not doing any parties. I'm like, I was so bad. For me, it was like rough couple seasons for Galyna. But this season, I'm like, okay, this is going to be my time.
It's your time, girl.
I know, I'm going to be like, okay, I'll have party for this season.
So I think, fair question everybody would want to know. I know you get this question a lot. What's it like a camera following you around all day, or maybe it's not all day, maybe it doesn't, but like, camera follows you around a lot, and capturing a lot of your life. Does it feel invasive, or have you gotten to the point where, I personally, like me, if I were in a reality show at this point in my life, I wouldn't care what they filmed, because I live so transparently. I know I got some goofy shit that I do on a daily basis, and it would probably make for some good TV in some cases, but nothing that I would be ashamed of or that they couldn't follow me. And I mean, come to the bathroom with me if you want. I really don't care. You know what I mean? It just is what it is, right? Yeah. So is it that way for you? Does it not bother you, or is it like sometimes you feel a little invaded and, you're losing some privacy, or, how's that? How do you deal with that?
I mean, in the beginning, obviously, the first 2 seasons for sure, like it was, the first season I was so nervous, doing those confessionals, or, sitting in front of the camera, or being anywhere with the camera, it can like extremely nerve-wracking, especially for me.
Yeah.
For the boys, it was a little bit easier. Steven already was on TV. They're a lot more confident. They grew up in, with pictures and videos, they were star athletes. So for them, it was like more natural. For me, it was like, okay, I have like 3 pictures of me, through the childhood. Like I'm not accustomed to all of that. Yes, I am more social through working in the restaurant industry. Right. But when you start getting exposed to, like I have a panic fear of public speaking or anything like that. So for me, it was like
culture shock.
Yeah, it was a lot. But, as you kind of start being exposed to it. And the cool thing is that we have quite a few the same production crew members that, worked with us for now 3 years. You're already used to them. You know them.
Yeah. Now they're like friends. Now they're part of the family.
So now it's like I'm like imagining like, okay, I'm like, let's do confessionals, just like that.
Yeah.
So you feel comfortable and relaxed after a while. So kind of to your point, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You don't care. It's all out there now.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I don't care.
So Dominique had a question that she's been curious about, because she obviously adores you, and she's and maybe you can't say this or whatever, but if there's a character image maybe that you think is projected through this show, or maybe there's a character piece about you that is not being projected to the show that you would want people to know about you. Do you have any of that do you wish that people knew this about me, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think this is why I'm excited about this season, because I feel like, I did not really watch season 1 or 2, and, like, because a lot of dramatic situation happened there.
A lot of real life stuff happened.
Right. Yeah. And, the way I look at it, okay, I already lived through it. I don't want to continuously, revisit it all the time. I need to have like a little, space to heal or move on from, some of those bad experiences that I had, in life that, were captured and, I shared with a lot of people, those private moments, but, not necessarily that I do want to relive them. But I feel like, in the first 2 seasons, people only saw some of the dramatic situations, and they saw, me in like intense meetings, or that I'm this, Russian in business, or a very particular. Right? I don't necessarily think that maybe some of my other sides, like my friendships, my girlfriends, my family, or were not really showcased at all. So people don't know that side of me. They only know me as like, oh my gosh, I'm like with Steve and all this stuff is happening. And but there is a whole another side of me, and that's why I'm excited about season 3, because, obviously we're no longer dating. So, I have so many new friends, and just living life. And,
Well,
I'm
I'll tell
excited
you-
to share that with everybody in season 3.
Well, I can tell you this: your girl Dominique's like she kicks into when she's friends with someone, like her loyalty's fierce, and she's like, one comment she's like, I just think people just need to know she's not the home wrecker. She's like, I just think it's so unfairly portrayed in the beginning and blah blah blah.
Unfortunately,
so it's cute, when you're her friend, she's gonna mama bear, and
I love it. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, 100%. So okay, so then all right, so then you move through season 2. We're filming season 3. I think the general public knows about Big Steve, and his current situation, right? And so, where does that leave you business wise? What's what's going on? You're I'm not gonna say you're left holding the bag, 'cause I know the boys are still there to help too, but you got a big responsibility now.
Yes, I have a big responsibility, but the boys actually stepped up tremendously. I mean, I'm extremely proud of how they're handling the situation.
You tight with them? You got a good relationship with them?
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, I am excited about the relationship with their mom too. We definitely, became a lot closer, and she's been an incredible support to Steve through this journey, and is a very important part now in all of businesses and supporting boys as well. So she is kind of like essentially in place of Steve to make sure that everything is taken care of. So she's taking a huge responsibility as well.
Their mom.
Yes.
So she's still involved in the business too?
Well, she is not. She is obviously running Lantel, so involved there. But now she's also a kind of overseeing to certain capacity all of the businesses here as well. So she's like at the top of the board of directors. Yes,
Got it.
I partner on some businesses and operate and do different things, but she is their mom, and Steve is away, so we need she's that authority person now.
I listen, I think that's cool. I really do. That's big. That's a big character reference of you. Really, listen. There's a lot of drama involved in all that shit.
Yes.
And there's a lot of reason to be have animosity and spite and ill fate and feelings for one another. And you guys have all managed to compartmentalize somehow and put peace. It's like organized chaos.
It really is.
It really is. It really is. But somewhere in there lies a bunch of pretty decent human beings that have made some maybe shitty decisions along the way, but hell, I think we all have, right?
Yeah. So obviously in some personal life, some shitty decisions. Sometimes just decision happens based on what's happening. Sometimes you have to make the best decision you can in the moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it a great decision, but it's the best you could in under circumstances that sometimes are presented to you.
Yeah, right. I know. There's some of those decisions I made where I'm like, is that the best idea I had that day? It's like, really?
Oh my God. Sometimes I'm like, I promise you. Oh my God.
Hey, but you know what? That's a testament of your resilience, of, you just being able to overcome all that stuff and keep pushing through. So that's awesome. Okay. So what's on the horizon for you? Like what's, cause now you're single, now the businesses are going well. Right?
We're getting there, working.
What about, I know of another business idea you have. You want to talk about that yet or no?
No, this is a little surprise. So
okay, it's a
coming
surprise.
soon.
That's it. You guys are going to be.
I cannot wait to share about it.
So this is a teaser then.
It's a little teaser,
I know.
Something I'm working on, but yes.
Galyna has a really cool thing coming to market soon, and it's going to be really cool.
Yes,
it's cute.
we'll have another podcast.
Okay, yeah, good. All right. So what? Part of my show is, I've learned through somebody else made the reference to me like, hey, these videos and stuff you're doing are really awesome. They're going to play for years and years, and you don't know how many years to come they're going to play, and you're going to be able to impact people's lives for years to come off of videos, And I'm like, that's kind of cool, right? Yeah. Like a legacy thing, right?
Yeah.
So given my people that come on the show, giving you that same sort of opportunity, what. I want you to think about this, and we're going to come back to the question, but you can think about it a little bit, and we're going to do a fun speed round of questions first. But think about something that you want to leave out here into the world some positive, maybe some young girl that's going to be immigrating to the States, for the first time, on her, or whatever, right? Somebody start whatever message you want to leave to the world that's going to be out here for a while. Okay. Yeah. Think about that. All right. So before we do that though, I got a fun speed round of questions, and you know what? I got these cards.
Okay.
You're going to be my first one I get to do these with. So I found these on the internet, and it's this packet of cards, and it's called, here, let me put the deal. It's called How Deep Will You Go?
Ooh.
And
interesting.
And yeah, it is. It's really cool. So you've got 3 cards, and they're icebreaker, confessions, and getting deep. Okay. So we'll start with an icebreaker.
Okay.
All right. So the question is, what do you find attractive in a person? Doesn't have to be dating. It's just what appeals to you in somebody?
Personality, sense of humor.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
Yes.
All right. Good. That's a good icebreaker. All right. This one's a little more confessions. What you do your confessions, so you're good at that. What's a conspiracy theory that you believe in?
Conspiracy theory. Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. I saw that one earlier.
There's so many. I'm kidding.
I know, right?
I'll stick with aliens. I'm kidding. Conspiracy theories always scare me.
I know. Do you have one that you
get like a little political? So
do you have one that you like? I think that's true. You know what I mean?
I think that those snowman does exist. Whatever you say.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So I saw this one earlier and I thought about it. I think the whole COVID, like being fabricate, like somebody did that with ill intent. I believe that.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know that it was intended to be the extent that it went through, but I think there was some ill intent.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So getting deep.
Ooh.
What question have you always asked yourself since you were a kid? What question have you always asked yourself since you were a kid?
I don't know if I ask myself a question. I just, I challenged myself since I was a kid. Like, I had so many fears all the time, but I've always found a way to just challenge myself and just go for it.
Do you find yourself, because as I'm seeing a pattern of your life with some of the things that I know about you, with and then you saying that, do you find yourself you thrive in that uncomfortable, like being comfortable, like you're comfortable being uncomfortable, like you thrive in that area, right?
In a way I do, because we moved so many times growing up. I am more accustomed to the new setting, and as soon as it, I live somewhere way too long or stay somewhere way too long, it becomes uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. Yeah, comfortable is uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Listen, I feel like I'm the same way. I feel like, luckily now I'm a little wiser, but I felt like every time my life would be going good, I would do something so irrationally dumb just to screw everything up so I can rebuild it. You know what I mean? It's like,
I hear you.
There's probably something better. There's probably a better way.
I know. So now my challenge is okay, let's challenge to, slow down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, do some stuff that's a little safer and healthier, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So, all right, you ready for this?
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Biggest financial red flag that you spot instantly?
Instantly?
Mm-hmm. Maybe on a P&L or something. What's a financial red flag when something, on a P&L that sticks out to you really quickly?
When your profit are way below your expenses.
When the bottom number is not black.
Yeah, that'd be okay, let's see what's causing.
Where do you, I'm curious from a business perspective, where do you go first? Like what's, if you're in the red, say a month, what do you tend to look first?
I break down by categories. So you go to labor, you just,
Personnel,
you break down. Yeah. I have a very particular way where I break down the P&Ls and then I just go and make sure that I will create essentially a model, your cost study.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then, I'll see okay, we either overspending or a lot of times it's just the profitability is not quite there yet, so you have to build up sales.
I would imagine in
certain
the
things,
car wash business, there's probably a lot of ebbs and flows with the seasonality, right?
Seasonality, yes. It's a very expensive business to operate. You have to have basically, you have to operate on a 50% NOI in order to kind of, for the business to start making sense. And so you have to build up sales to a very particular, so that's where I go. I basically, I evaluate your costs, and then start building up from there. And I will let you know, like, okay, so in order for this business to make sense, you have to produce that much, X amount of dollars a month.
Yeah.
So, and then you start controlling costs too. So you give everybody like a model, like, okay, if you operating on 50% NOI, with that loan, you have to produce, say, $120,000 a month. This is how much you can spend on labor. This is how much utilities, so forth. So SG&As, whatever that is.
So how much? Okay, so if you obviously it's an equation of money coming in or money going out, right? Yeah. That's your net. So what do you when you're in the red? Do you find it easier? And the reason I'm asking this because I gravitate towards production. I always try to outperform. Because it's either you either need to produce more or cut your expenses.
Yes.
And I feel like for the most part, I do a pretty good job of expense control. I don't spend money stupidly. We probably overspend a little bit on some things, but I don't. But it's usually I would rather leave what I have intact because I like our people, I like our advertising, I like our our products. I would rather just go push harder and sell more.
Yes.
Is that
a lot of times that's exactly what's happened in most of the businesses. Yeah. Once you become an efficient operator, you have all the systems in place. Your costs you already know what your costs are, and they're going to stay pretty stagnant unless something unusual happens. So then once you know your costs, then you know where you need to grow your sales to afford those costs.
Yeah, I would imagine too. In your guys' line of work in the car washes, your labor expenses are typically going to be fairly flat in terms of not because with ours there's a lot of it's with commission base. It's our compensation is going to rise and fall with production, right? So if your production goes up, so does your personnel expense because they're getting paid off that too. So it's not always the best. Some of your fixed expenses are the stuff where we have to go try and make up some ground, right? But anyway, I don't want to bore everybody with that stuff. Okay, so next is what's louder, the reality TV drama or actually what goes on when the TVs are not there?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I feel like our production team did a really good job.
Pretty true to life.
Yeah, like really exposing some of the drama. The big difference is, like we live, obviously, we have only 10 episodes. So it may feel like, oh my gosh, like we have the drama every day. Drama.
Yeah.
In real life, we do have like breaks in
balance.
between.
We take the gloves off every day.
It's not always like drama is not every day. It's just. And I feel like our showrunners are absolutely amazing, and they've done such a good job really kind of showcasing some of those, dramatic moments, but, they're offsetting it with some, celebrations and things like that. It's like compacted.
Yeah, right,
right. They only have 10 episodes to showcase like month of, our interactions.
Yeah,
so
and let's face it, you're trying to draw an audience in too.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, again, you ask me for advice, not advice, but what I would live for the future. I always live by the rules. Nobody remembers boring. So nobody remembers boring.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
So
that's right.
That's why our TV show is so memorable.
Nobody
it's definitely not boring.
That's right. Let's see. Which character or which person on the show would not survive running the books like what you do? Who could?
Can I cuss?
You can say whatever you want.
The prostitute definitely will not be able to run the book. I can tell you that much. The girl cannot add like 35 and 36 together. So that's what I've heard.
Can I say her name?
Yeah.
Is that Masha?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you do not want her in charge of books. It's going to be a disaster. We know what she can be in charge of, and we'll leave it at that.
Yes. Oh, take the gloves off. I love it. That's great. All right. So, what's harder in your business, running the finances or managing personalities? You got a lot of big personalities there. Yeah.
It equally can be challenging.
I know.
And, and I work with a lot of strong men, high strong men. And, being a female, a lot of times, I've ran into a situation when the guys don't like female to be like an authority figure, So
Sure.
I had a lot of issues with that. So, yeah, they don't like to hear, what girl says.
So how have you managed that? Like, do you feel like now you've got some years and you got some equity there that they kind of, that's kind of gotten better, or do you still?
It's getting better. Yeah. It took a long time to build the trust and respect, and a lot of very uncomfortable, fights and like really like explosive meetings,
Right.
and it's just it was a lot.
Are you? Would you say you're? I don't want to call you confrontational, but are you okay with confrontation, or would you consider yourself a non-confrontational person?
Yeah, I
I'm
if
not saying
I
you
am-
run around
yeah,
chasing,
yeah.
not looking
No,
for
I mean,
fights.
I
but
will, if I feel that, some kind of business advice or, is not right, I will stand my grounds. I mean, it's not about confrontation. It's about speaking
Truth.
like the truth or what I think is,
Yeah.
right for the business. They did not hire me, or I'm not, a partner in business to just comply with,
be passive.
I was
Yeah.
hired for my expertise and for my opinion. So if, I feel that I need to share my opinion, whether it's popular or not.
Yeah.
I'm going to, share
Would
it.
would you consider yourself collaborative? Like if you share your opinion, this is what I believe. I'm firm in my belief, but you're open to listening
Yes.
to hear what their beliefs are, and then coming to a common ground and a solution. Or would
Right.
you say you're good at that?
Yeah, I'm pretty decent, unless I think that, the other opinion is like,
Yeah.
is absolutely non-workable.
You're like,
that
yeah,
way.
hey,
I'm like,
thanks for your opinion, but
Yeah,
shut
but
up, it's stupid.
yeah, I'm like, it may not work.
Yeah, that was cute. That's we're not going to do that.
That was really cute. Yeah. That's when I stood my grounds.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so this is a good one. I think you should probably know this. So what's your favorite English phrase that you didn't understand at first?
There were so many.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean,
Yeah.
still to this day, a lot of them were not good.
What-
Especially when I started working at the restaurant industry, and I would say something, and they're like, "What did you just say? Like you cannot say that."
Yeah.
Like there's a lot, and it's super inappropriate most of the time. So, it's like everybody comes to me like, "Okay, teach me something in Russian," and everybody wants to say something
bad words,
right?
yeah.
I'm like, no. And that was my first experiences. Like I've learned pretty much every uncomfortable phrase the hard way.
I love it. That's hilarious. I love it.
And I still do. I just learned another one that I did not know about.
What
and
was
it's
it?
like, I cannot.
Yeah. We'll
I'll
wait.
tell you off
camera,
the record.
All right. So last question for this. If you weren't doing what you were doing now, what job would you like? What would you want to do?
I'd
Like
still
what-
be doing the same.
You
Like
would?
it would be maybe not that business,
You
but
love
it's
what
still
you're
gonna
doing.
be it's still gonna be a business. I always wanted to have my own business, operations. Yeah, business is what I'm good at.
Are you obviously money motivated? You're driven. You're driven by that. But what's your overall intrinsic motivation? Would you say because of your humble beginnings and how you grew up and everything, you feel like you're just trying to do something for yourself? You know what I mean? Is it like you want to make something of yourself in spite of your circumstances? Is that a fuel for yours at all?
Yes and no. It's we all have our passions, right? Like why people that sing they don't necessarily sing because they can produce money. They just good at it.
right.
They passionate about it, or artists painting, all that. And some of them become extremely successful at it, but ultimately they go into this trade because they're passionate about it. The same for me in business. I'm just passionate about it. I love building it. I love doing it. It's just what I love to do. That's
challenges, the thrill of the challenges, and you're stimulated by that.
Yeah, like good. Right now we are building the businesses, so it's not cash flowing necessarily or any of that stuff, but it's challenging. That's something that I am going to produce to live for the boys, my daughter, for the future.
yeah it's funny. I think we're wired in that same way. I look at it all the time, because with the med spas, it's crazy. It's not major cash flow influx by any stretch of the imagination, but I see it. I see the big vision, and my daughters are coming up, and I think that their way is going to be paved way better than mine was, and which is fine. But they're still going to work, and they're still going to earn and all that. But I'm going to give them a little easier shot at life than what I had. I think that's we as parents, we always want
exactly
that, right?
Yeah, and that's what I wanted for my daughter too.
Have a little bit better. Well, all right, so. This is it. This is it. The last question is the one I was asking you earlier. I want to know, what do you want to leave? What legacy Galyna Saltkovska wants to leave for generations to come? If somebody looks at this in 10 years, what do you want to tell them?
One of the biggest things, like I said, nobody remembers boring. Always challenge yourself, and don't just let cultural things or society things to stop you, or dictate you. And I always wanted my daughter to be like, as a female, to be independent and be self-sufficient, because that was very important to me.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Good advice. Very good advice. Well, you're all those things for sure. So you're leading by example. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Anything that you were hoping we would talk about that maybe we didn't cover? Was there any topics you wanted?
I think it was really great.
I
enjoyed that.
I did too.
I think we covered a lot.
And
we definitely can cover more in the next one.
Yeah, for sure. There's some good stuff happening in your life, and that will be unveiled at some point. And I'm super excited for you, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I know that what you've come through in your life and the things that you've experienced, and you're coming out on the other side looking fantastic. You've been a good friend to Dominique and I, and we've enjoyed your company, and I look forward to more of it. So
thank you. Same here.
Yeah. So, well, all right. We're gonna do our little outro and be done. All right. So let's see here, and then get my deal going. There we go. Well, that's another successful episode of the Stronger Leader podcast, and with Galyna Saltkovska. And I will put some links in the bio down below in the description, maybe to some of the businesses and some of the things where they can maybe reach out to you. And if there's any women out there looking for some encouragement in business, Galyna can be reached through the McBee websites and whatnot. She has her email up. So listen. Thanks for being on here. I appreciate your story. You're a woman of courage and faith and just all the things. So I appreciate you a ton.
Thank you.
If you like this, hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. And hit the bell so you get notified for all the good stuff that's coming up when the new episodes drop. And as always, be good, be blessed, and be stronger. Peace.